So I have these lists, and that's a combination of unlike things. And I have these NumPy arrays that's allowing me to do vector and matrix multiplication. A dictionary is going to say, let me assign some keyword to a collection of items. And so I'm going to call maybe a dictionary D. And I have a whole bunch of items here, variable A, B, A, N, P, and so on. And so to make a dictionary, you're going to give it a set of brackets. And then you're going to give it a set of keywords. So if I want to feed this dictionary this A, I'm going to call it with a keyword, and then I'm going to say colon, and then give it that vector A. I can also give it some sort of variable and feed it that var variable we had earlier. I can give it a FNP. So maybe I want to give it a different name other than FNP. So I'm going to say FNum. And I'm going to store this A, var, and FNum into this dictionary. And so it's not exactly clear what this thing is doing quite yet. But what's nice about this is that now you have a collection of items. They're all of n equal length, and they're all associated with this first thing, that's the keyword. And so I can say, just like I did with indexing, instead of using these indice numbers like 0, 1, 2, 3, I can say, well, can you return D at var and print it? And if you remember, that variable name that we stored there was 5, and so that's associated with this variable number here. And that's just what we stored, that var is what we stored associated with that keyword. Or I can say, can you please return FNum? And it'll return that NumPy array. And now instead of accessing things in terms of some sort of index, I'm associating with this keyword name. And if I were to grab this second row, then I could say, okay, go into this dictionary, look at FNum, and notice that it's no longer called FNP. In fact, if I were to type that, it would say there's a key error, that thing doesn't exist. And that's because I called it FNum here. It just loaded all the numbers associated with FNP and associated with this new word FNum. And if I were to then want to grab this second row, well, that's associated with 0, 1. So that's index 1. And I want to grab that row and all the columns. And so I can, just like I did with lists, list within lists, I can now go into this dictionary, associate with a keyword, and then grab whatever indices I want associated with that thing that's associated with that keyword. And then finally, just to round this out, I can also grab that A component, and that will return 1, 2, 3, 4. And so this is going to be kind of end of list arrays and dictionaries. I realized that there are a number of brackets that are often commonly easy to mistake for one another. But just remember, as we stated up here, you have rows, and then you have columns, and then you have whatever other directions you're looking at. Then you have lists associated with these brackets, and you have a NumPy array also associated with these brackets, but make sure you actually call the NumPy library to use any sort of functionality or matrix multiplication or other sort of mathematical operations associated with this NumPy library. There's a tuple that is also much like a list, allowing you to pass multiple items. And then finally, there's a dictionary that associates any items with it with some sort of keyword.